All right, for this lesson, you are going to be converting, meaning changing from decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals, because sometimes it's helpful to express that piece of a number as a decimal, and sometimes it's more helpful to write it as a fraction. So we want to be able to write ones that are equal to one another, just like we do every day in calendar math. We write a decimal and a fraction that are equivalent or equal to each other. So what you want to do is think how, if we're talking about decimals to fractions, okay, so if I'm given a decimal number like this or like this or like this, think how you would say the number. Because when we say it, we always say tenth, hundredth, thousandth. That will give us a clue, that place will give us a clue or will tell us what the denominator is. Okay, so if it's thousandths, I know 1,000 is going to be my denominator. If it's tenths, 10 will be my denominator. Hundredths, 100 will be my denominator. Another way to determine the denominator is to look at the last place. So if it ends in the thousandths place, the denominator will be 1,000. If it ends in the hundredths, my denominator will be 100. If it ends in the tenths, it will be 10. Okay? The last step is, that's the hardest one, is to simplify if necessary. So sometimes my decimal and my fraction won't look the same. They won't have the same numbers because I simplified. So you cannot, if it's multiple choice or something, you can't always just go by the one that has the same digits because they might not actually be equivalent. I need to go through the process, write it with 10, 100, 1,000 as my decimal or as my denominator. Sorry, that's an E if you couldn't tell. Place, P-L-A-C-E. So write it, 10, 100, 1,000 is my denominator. Then simplify it and then find the one that matches. Some examples. Okay, how would I say that number? Well, what place is it in? It's in the tenths place, so I know it's 7 tenths. Okay, also ends in the tenths place, so I know my denominator is going to be 10. Can I simplify it? No, I cannot. There's nothing I can divide them both by. All right, let's look at the next one. How would I say it? 12 hundredths, because it ends in my hundredths place, so I know it's going to be 12 over 100. Again, ends in the hundredths place, 100 is my denominator. The number that's there just goes in my numerator. Can I simplify it? Yes, I can. I know I can divide them both by 2 at least, because they're both even. So I get 6 over 50. Can I simplify it again? Yes, I can, because they're still both even. So I can divide them both by 2 again. So I get 3/25. Can I simplify it again? Nope, it is simplified. I could have divided it by 4, and then I just would have done 1 step. 2 steps is fine. So notice how I have 12 here. I have 3/25 here. They both have a 2 in them, but other than that, they're totally different numbers. But they do still represent the same amount. Might not look like it, but they do. All right, look at our number here. What do we got? How would I say it? 204 1,000ths, 204 thousandths. So I put 204 over 1,000. Now, can I simplify this one? Yes, I can. Again, I can divide by a couple of different things. We can start with 2 if you're not sure of anything else. So then I get 102. 1,000 divided by 2 is 500. I can divide it by 2 again. The bigger ones do get a little trickier. 201 250ths. Well, I know I can divide 250 by 10 or by 5 or by 2. by 25. I can't divide 201 by any of those. So, oops, sorry, not 201. Goodness. I hope some of you were like, what are you doing, Mrs. Morrison? That would be 51. There we go. That looks more right. I was wondering, I was like, 204 is really close to 201. How did that happen? I divided wrong. So, there's my simplified fraction. Again, very different than this, but still equivalent, still equal. Now, if we go the reverse, if I have fractions to decimals, I can read the fraction and use the denominator as the last place, assuming it's 10, 100, or 1,000. If it's not one of those, we have to do something different, which we'll cover next lesson. Okay, but all the ones on this one are 10, 100, or 1,000. So these ones are pretty straightforward. So I think 5/100. Okay, well, I know it needs to end in the hundredths place. I need to have a 5 there. So I put 5, so 0.05. 5/100. If I put 0.5, that's 5/10. Doesn't work. 3/10. 0.3. 33/100. 0.33. There's no simplifying involved. So if it gives me 10, 100, or 1,000, I'm always very thankful. Remember, I can put the 0 in front of my decimal. I don't have to, but I can. The next lesson, they'll get a little bit harder. Not hard, but just a little trickier. But these ones are all straightforward on your worksheet. As always, ask for help if you need it. Good luck. You got it.